Hi everyone and welcome to our latest Synology webinar. Today we'll introduce Synology's first all-flash NAS system, the new FlashStation FS3017. First, I would like to explain why we would like to embrace all-flash NAS. Currently, there are many system development requests which demand a high CPU and I/O intensive task, and traditional storage arrays are not sufficient to fulfill these tasks of high system IOPS. According to Gartner's analysts, the all-flash storage arrays market has continued to grow and replace the traditional high-end storage arrays. With this information, Synology has decided to produce an all-flash NAS which provides a huge IOPS performance boost compared to spinning drives. Additionally, the price of SSDs is getting lower. The dollar per gigabyte for SSDs has dropped compared to many years ago, and at the same time, the storage capacity of SSDs has become increasingly larger. And as for SSDs themselves, they consume less power and require less cooling effort. This combined reason convinced Synology to launch its first all-flash NAS with the Synology FS3017. I believe some of you are familiar with our traditional naming rule, but beginning with the FS3017, Synology is introducing a new naming rule. First, FS stands for Flash Station. 17, as usual, means the launch year. The 30 here is for the product position. Being our first model of the 3000 series, it is aligned for small and medium-sized business users. Let's now have a look at the FS3017 hardware design. We have integrated two Intel Xeon E5 processors. Each one is 6-core at 2.5 GHz. It comes standardly equipped with 16 memory slots, 8 slots for each CPU, which are populated with 64 GB of DDR4 RDIMM. You have also the opportunity to scale up the memory capacity up to 512 GB. The FS3017 is a 2U rack mount chassis with 24 2.5H drive bays and is compatible with mainstream SAS and SATA SSDs such as Intel, Samsung, and SanDisk. You can consult the SSD compatibility list on our website to help you choose a SSD that matches your budget. Therefore, according to our calculation, the estimated gigabyte per dollar value is around somewhere USD $0.65, a very competitive price. On the rear side, we have two built-in 10G base T ports, and you have the option to install two additional 10, 25, and 40 gigabit Ethernet network cards. We have done many system optimization as well. First, I would like to introduce our new Synology RAID F1. RAID F1 stands for RAID Optimized for Flash, with one drive redundancy. RAID F1 includes an improved RAID algorithm for superior flash endurance than a traditional RAID. With RAID F1, we are able to achieve performance close to RAID 5. It also comes with intelligent RAID rebuild. So here is how it works. Synology RAID F1 algorithm writes more parity bits into a specific SSD to avoid all SSDs from being worn out at the same time, and making one system assigned SSD to be worn out in the first place. To achieve this goal, the system will find out the most aged SSD, rebuild, and reallocate the parity layout. For the example shown here in the animation, when drive 1 is worn out and removed from the RAID volume, we will repair the array by installing drive 5. The system finds out that drive 2 is the most aged, and it will thus be the new system assigned SSD into which more parity blocks will be written. This approach ensures only one most aged SSD stores the most parity block. With this approach, RAID F1 will be very unlikely to crash, as data are unevenly written to SSDs. Thus, Synology RAID F1 enhances the endurance of RAID compared to other RAID algorithms, which is an important concern for enterprise flash storage products. So let's do a quick comparison between the traditional RAID 5 and Synology RAID F1. In RAID 5, you get a one-drive redundancy. It is designed for HDDs. The parity bits are written evenly across all RAID drives. This is likely to cause multiple SSD failure at the same time. On the other side, Synology RAID F1 also provides one drive redundancy, but is optimized for flash or SSDs. We have an uneven parity bit distribution across the RAID drives, and it is fully automatic setting, without any user interference. By this, we mean the system will automatically assign an SSD to receive more parity bits to enhance its SSD RAID endurance. We've also done a lot of work to enhance our network environment. First is the iSCSI over RDMA. It helps offload the CPU and enhance iSCSI LAN performance, with up to 80% in performance gain achieved in our own test environment. With iSCSI over RDMA enabled, the CPU can be more efficient to handle other system tasks without intervention to memory copies and OS/TCP IP stack. Please note that in order to enable RDMA support, an additional network card is required. We have also integrated NUMA, which is a non-uniform memory access to enhance iSCSI and SMB environment. Here, let me explain how NUMA works. So for some dual or multiple processor systems, the CPU share one single memory set. If both CPU access the memory at the same time, a performance bottleneck will be caused due to the longer I/O latency between the CPUs and the memory channels. As you can see here, there is a traffic jam between the two memory channels. By providing independent memory set for the CPUs, each CPU has its own memory pool. But sometimes CPU requires more memory resource than it is beyond its physical memory capacity. This is where NUMA can be helpful by allowing one CPU to access the memory pool of another CPU. CPU 1 can access memory pool 1 and 2 and vice versa. Of course, the data path for CPU 1 to access memory 2 is far from memory 1, so it is important for the system to smartly redirect I/O requests among the CPU and memory sets for the best performance. Here we have a schematic of how NUMA works on the FS3017. We have two CPUs with each its own memory set. In CPU node 1, we allow the CPU to control the onboard 10G-base-T ports, drive base 17 to 24, and the PCIe Express slot number 1. For node number 2, it controls the rest of this SSD drive base as well as the PCIe Express slot number 2. On Synology FS3017, NUMA is integrated to DiskStation Manager to allow automatic I/O assignment between the two CPU nodes, optimizing iSCSI and SMB performance without the need of user configuration. By now, you must be very curious about how the performance stands compared to our other products. So let's have a look. First is the iSCSI random IOPS. The read performance for the FS3017 is close to 500,000 IOPS, where our current flagship, the RS18016XS Plus, reaches only 111,000 IOPS. In write performance, the FS3017 reaches over 200,000 IOPS, where the RS18016 reaches only 29,000. So we can see performance 9 times faster than our current flagship. Let's now have a look at the sequential throughput in SMB environment. First in reading, the FS3017 reaches over 6,000 megabytes per second, where the RS18016XS Plus reaches only 3,800. Let's have a look at the write performance. Here we can see that the FS3017 can achieve 2,800 megabytes per second, where the RS18016XS Plus is reaching 1,800. Besides the performance, we also optimize our system application and services. The FS3017 also runs on our award-winning DiskStation Manager. Synology DiskStation Manager is a sleek, browser-based operating system running on every Synology NAS server. Featuring an intuitive user interface, DSM makes managing your Synology NAS fast and easy. The Synology's Package Center provides nearly 100 applications to allow full customization and improve productivity at work. We have also integrated the Btrfs file system to ensure data integrity and protection. There are 5 main features. The first is metadata mirroring and survivability. Btrfs file system stores 2 copies of critical metadata on a volume, improving the availability and ensuring the integrity of your file system. Next is data scrubbing. With data scrubbing, checksums can be generated for data and metadata on Btrfs system to correct main memory and storage errors. Simply run file system level data scrubbing periodically to avoid metadata corruption. We also have corruption detection and correction. Btrfs generates checksums for data and metadata and then verifies the checksums during each read process to ensure the integrity of the file system and files. If the file system discovery is mismatched, metadata will be repaired to keep file system consistent. In the meantime, corrupted files will be reported and logged. It also comes with share folder compression. With share folder compression, you don't need to invest in additional servers or disk when running out of storage space. As data stored on Btrfs share folder, volumes can be compressed. Compression is especially useful for structured data such as plain text files, whose storage space consumption can be reduced up by 30%. And lastly, fast and efficient snapshots. Snapshots preserve the history of a shared folder. Allowing for point-in-time recovery, snapshots are captured almost instantly, without noticeable impact on system performance. On the FS3017, the snapshot replication offers 65,000 system-wide snapshots and 1,024 snapshots per share folder. You can snapshot replication to protect your share folder, virtual machines, and iSCSI ones, or even Docker DSN data. We also provide a complete virtualization support including VMware, Hyper-V, Citrix, and OpenStack Cinder. And of course, business continuity and reliability is also very important. So the FS3017 also supports Synology High Availability Cluster, SHA, also with share folder sync and redundant hardware component. The SHA is a technology which combines an active and passive server into one cluster, the former always mirrored to the later, and ensures seamless transition in the event of a one node failing to minimize service impacts. Share folder sync can replicate data in real time to another Synology NAS at a remote location for fast disaster recovery, and redundant power supplies, system fans, and multiple network ports, which provides failover support, ensure maximum continuous service uptime. The FS3017 also comes with a 5-year global warranty, and we provide regional Synology replacement service for next business day replacement. Now that we've been over the main features, let's have a look at the FS3017 usage scenarios. As we fully support iSCSI virtualization environment, it can be deployed in virtualized infrastructure. It can be used in database such as SQL Server. It can also be used as a mail server such as for Synology Mail Plus or Microsoft Exchange, thanks to its high system IOPS. Although we've only recently launched our product, we already have encountered a very successful case study. This one is from the Mentra Group. Mentra Group is the largest and strongest Australian-based hospitality management team operating 3 trusted key brands, Peppers, Mentra, and Breakfree. With over 5,500 team members and approximately 125 properties located in Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, and Hawaii, Mentra Group dedicates itself to providing high-quality accommodation experience as well as management of guest relations and reception areas, restaurants and bars, conference and function centers, pool and entertainment facilities, and offices. From their experience with the FS3017, they have recommended the following features: ultra-high performance and low latency in multitask environment. Over the last few months, Mentra has been utilizing the FS3017 for multiple tasks ranging from independent benchmarking, time-critical database backups, and restore validation to production system VM replication. Throughout this period, the unit has run continual, multiple concurrent tasks, including those previously mentioned, without increasing disk latency, while delivering hundreds of thousands of IOPS. Secondly, they mentioned the rock-solid memory and optimal CPU utilization. During extremely high disk load, the FS3017 memory and CPU utilization was below 25 and 20% respectively without dramatic spikes. In addition, the system was always responsive from a management point of view. Lastly, the cost-efficient yet powerful all-flash array for enterprise network configuration was their third feature they mentioned. During their use, the FS3017 has demonstrated how easily configurable and supportable it is in an enterprise networking environment. It has been proven to Mentra Group that FS3017 is more than capable of going toe-to-toe with what would be classed as an enterprise-class all-flash array for a fraction of the cost. Mentra Group will continue to use and scale out their FS3017 for production workloads moving forward. This about sums it up for our presentation of the FS3017, so let's have a look back at the few highlights we went over. It integrates two Intel Xeon 6-core CPU and 64GB of DDR4 memory, which can be scaled up to 512GB. It comes with two onboard 10G-based ports and with optional 10, 25, 40 gigabit Ethernet support. It features 24, 12 gigabit per second SAS interface and is compatible with major SAS and SATA SSDs brands, preventing vendor locking. We have integrated Synology RAID F1 to enhance SSD RAID endurance, and we have improved our network performance with NUMA and iSCSI over RDMA. The FS3017 can provide over 200,000 random write IOPS, ultra-high performance with low latency, and come with a 5-year global warranty and region SRS. Alright, this is about it for the FS3017. Important links and information will be included in the description of the video. If you have any questions, you can contact us at webinar@synology.com. Thank you very much, and see you next time.